Mischievous Kitties, a mischievous apprentice. Pepper loves weekends. Weekends are the best. Owner always had the computer room open, so Pepper was able to sleep in his favorite chair, a big bean bag. The bean bag was just the best. It was a great place to sleep, and sometimes Pepper liked to just sit there and watch Owner. But it wasn't all rest and lazy days. Pepper would also spend time running around the house like crazy, usually with Mer-Ka-Ba. Yeah, weekends were great. The days between weekends just weren't the same. Oh, he still played with Mer-Ka-Ba, which was always fun, but not being able to go and spend time with Owner or lounging in the computer room, it just wasn't the same. So on those days, Pepper did his best to avoid the most horrible feeling he could ever feel: boredom. Today was no exception. They had just finished what Peaches had called a 3-day weekend. Pepper didn't care what it was called. He just liked that he had been able to spend an extra day with Owner. But now, they were back to Owner being at work, the computer room being closed, and Pepper trying to defeat boredom. He was actually having more success than usual. After a great snack, he used the trash can to jump up on the kitchen counters. The dark counters were slippery and cold, but Pepper ignored it. There were so many different smells up here. "What are you doing?" a small voice from the floor squeaked. "What?" Pepper crouched down and looked over the edge of the counter, and saw Mr. Fluffle staring up at him. "Oh, it's just you. You startled me, Fluff." "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." "It's okay. Where's your shadow?" Confused, Mr. Fluffles looked around him on the floor. "I don't know." Pepper purred amused. "Peaches, why isn't she with you?" "Oh, she's sleeping." "Okay. Are the other kitties still sleeping?" Pepper asked, mainly concerned about Jewel and Peaches barging in to yell at him. "Yes," Mr. Fluffle said happily. "Okay, good," Pepper said, standing up and resuming his inspection of the kitchen. Mr. Fluffle still stared up at him. "What are you doing?" he repeated his question. "Just exploring," Pepper answered casually as he looked around and sniffed at the different items on the counter. "Why?" "Because I get bored. And when I explore, I'm not bored." "Oh." The tuxedo kitten shook his head. His neck was getting stiff from looking up so much. "You okay down there?" Pepper asked as he started to explore the sink and faucet. "Yeah. How did you get up there?" "The trash can at the end of the counter," he pointed with his tail. "Oh, okay," Mr. Fluffles exclaimed and ran over to the tall trash can. It did look closer to the ground than the counters. He tried to stretch up to test how high it was. He guessed that he had stretched pretty far. The lid did seem closer. Encouraged, he crouched down low to the ground, wiggled his back legs, and launched. He crashed into the can and fell back to the floor on his little round butt with a squeak. Pepper was startled by the sound and rushed over to see what had happened. He started laughing at the tuxedo kitten. Mr. Fluffles looked up, wide-eyed at Pepper. His cheeks became pink with heat, and he felt his bottom lip start to quiver. Between laughs, Pepper noticed the look of embarrassment on the kitten, and so he tried to calm down long enough to talk to him. What were you trying to do?" "Jump on top of the trash can," Mr. Fluffles replied. "Why?" Pepper asked, the laugh still on his face. "I want to explore too." Pepper's grin turned into a confused scowl. "Why?" "You aren't the only kitty who gets bored." "Oh." Pepper wasn't expecting this. He almost didn't know how to respond. "You want to explore with me?" "Is that really so surprising?" "Yeah, actually. Given how close you are to Peaches, I just figured that you two shared interests and you would rather shadow her all day." "Yeah, I can see that." Mr. Fluffles stared for a moment at his paws. "When we were fighting to survive in the alley, I was so small. I depended on her for so many things. And when we were adopted, I did still rely on her until I learned to trust you guys and Owner. He stood up as tall as he could and puffed out his little chest. But I've seen Peaches grow and develop interests which has led to new friendships. And hearing some of the adventures that Butterball has had, I realized that I want to have adventures as well. Okay, that does make sense, but why me? I'm not interested in books, video games, staying up late, or cleaning. I like to sleep in warm, fluffy beds, eat, and cuddle with Owner. Emphasis on the eating part, Pepper remarked with a snort. Yes, I love food. So what? So nothing. Just teasing a little. He shrugged and then laid down. So, I get that you don't share any interest with the other kitties, but why would you want to hang out with me? Why not? Well, I don't know if you pay much attention to when Jewel gripes, but I tend to get in trouble. I think I know. I personally witnessed the spaghetti sauce incident. Pepper chuckled. Oh yeah, but you did get me in trouble with Peaches and Jewel that day. Only because you tricked me into eating hot sauce. Oh yeah. The gray kitty smirked at the memory. That was great. Maybe for you, Mr. Fluffle shuddered. But again, of all the kitties, why me? I guess you just seem fun. Huh. Yeah, I can see that. Pepper put one front paw over the other. Mr. Fluffle smiled and looked back up at the trash can. He again crouched down and made a leap towards the top. Just as the first time, he again crashed into the trash can and fell back down to the floor. Pepper tried so hard not to laugh, but then he ended up snickering into his paws. Mr. Fluffles glared up at him. What? I can't help it, it's funny! Instead of laughing, you could maybe help me get up there. He started trying to jump and climb up the trash can. Pepper looked around him and then down to the floor. But then how would you get down? Mr. Fluffles paused and looked at Pepper, the counter, the floor, and back up at Pepper. That's a good point, he said slowly as he climbed off the trash can. Yeah, I'd really like to avoid getting in trouble with Peaches again. Hot sauce is one thing, but if you fell, it could lead to a trip to the vet, and then I would be in huge trouble. I don't want to get you in trouble again. The tuxedo kitten gave Pepper big eyes, and then his eyes turned down to the floor and his tail drooped. I guess I should just leave you alone. He started walking out of the kitchen. Pepper felt a strange sensation. It was almost like his stomach dropped. Was he disappointed that this little round kitten wasn't going to be able to join in his adventures? Pepper looked around. There had to be something he could do with the tuxedo kitten. Hey, I didn't say you had to leave, Pepper called. Mr. Fluffles looked back at him. What? Pepper jumped on the trash can and down to the floor. There is more to explore than just the kitchen counters. Come on, let's find something that we can do together. Mr. Fluffles hopped to turn around. Do you mean it? On one condition. You don't intentionally try to get me in trouble with the other kitties. I promise, I won't. Mr. Fluffles ran over to Pepper. He shuffled his little white paws in excitement. So, what do we do now? Well, the best places to explore have two things in common. One, they're up high. Two, we're not allowed on it. Pepper looked over to the dining room table in the next room. Mr. Fluffles' eyes went wide. The table? Yep. Pepper walked forward, jumped on a chair, and then onto the table. This is lower than the counters or the garbage can. If you could use the chair, you should be able to get up. Okay, I'll try. Mr. Fluffles reached up and found that he could touch the seat, but just barely. He scrunched down and jumped. He missed and landed under the chair. He got up, shook himself off, and tried again. After several more times, he finally got his front paws on the seat. There you go, Pepper encouraged excitedly. He had laid down during the other attempts, but was now on his feet. "You can do it!" Mr. Fluffal's back paws were dangling, trying to find a foothold, but he couldn't hold himself up for much longer. He fell to the floor. Pepper flinched. "Ouch! You okay, Fluff?" "Yeah," Mr. Fluffles replied as he shook himself out and licked his bruises. "I can't climb on anything, I guess." "Huh." Pepper was confused. "I thought for sure you could climb up on that chair." Mr. Fluffles glared at him. "I can't even climb up the stairs." "Oh yeah, good point." Pepper sat and thought for a few moments. "Peaches, Mocha, and Cream usually help me by carrying me up the stairs." "Well, I guess we'll just have to find something closer to the ground to explore," Pepper stated and jumped down. "But you said the best spots were up high." "That is true," Pepper conceded. "I wish you could jump up on stuff. The shelves out in the living room are some of the best places to explore. The stuff up there is amazing." "Like what?" "Like the plants. They all have fun stuff to get into, like little rocks and dirt." "Ooh, that does sound like fun." He shuffled his paws. Pepper tilted his head to the side and got an idea.
"I've got an idea."
Mr. Fluffle stopped. "Really? What?"
"Come on."
Pepper called and started walking towards the living room, and Mr. Fluffles followed.
"If I can't bring you to the interesting stuff, it might be possible for me to bring some of the interesting stuff to you."
Mr. Fluffles paused, confused. "How?"
"I'll show you."
Pepper smiled mischievously. He then jumped up on the couch and then up on the decorative shelves until he found the right one. He stood behind a flower pot that sat close to the end of the shelf.
"Now stand back."
Mr. Fluffles backed up. Pepper nosed the plant, but it didn't move. He tried to nose the pot, but it only lifted barely an inch, and then it moved back to just sitting on the shelf, scuffing his nose a little. He rubbed his nose with a paw and snorted. "What's wrong?"
"It won't move."
Pepper tried pushing the pot with her front paw. He heard a squeak and thought it did move just a little.
"I'm going to try something else. Please watch out."
Mr. Fluffles backed up again. "Please don't hurt yourself either."
"Appreciate the concern."
Pepper carefully turned around and backed up until he felt the flower pot touch his back leg. Then took one step forward. Then lifted up a back paw to his stomach and kicked the flower pot hard. His kick sent the flower pot spinning off the shelf and down towards the floor with a loud crash. Mr. Fluffles bounced forward and sniffed the pieces of the pot, the flour, the dark earthy stuff that was around it. Meanwhile, Pepper jumped down on the floor and walked over to the tuxedo kitten with a bounce in his step.
"Fluff,"
he proudly said as he placed a paw on the earthy-smelling stuff.
"Meet dirt."
He then smeared the dirty paw all over Mr. Fluffles' face. "Hey!" Mr. Fluffles backed away from Pepper and then jumped in the pile, turning his white paws brown. He then jumped to aim for Pepper's face, but instead hit Pepper's chest. Unprepared for the counterattack, Pepper fell backwards. Mr. Fluffles jumped on him and sniffed him. When Pepper started to laugh, Mr. Fluffles ran back to the pile to get more dirt. The two of them played in the dirt, rolling in it and then tackling or chasing each other around the pile. The two of them paused when they realized they were being watched. They looked up to see Jewel with an expression of horror on her face.
"What are you two doing?"
she screeched.
"Having fun,"
Pepper mused.
"Playing in the dirt,"
Mr. Fluffles exclaimed and then tackled Pepper again.
"Really?"
Jewel said, disappointed.
"Mr. Fluffles, I thought you knew better than to join Pepper in his antics."
"Hey," Mr. Fluffles shrugged. "Kitties just want to have fun." Then rolled onto the floor as Pepper stood up. Jewel just rolled her eyes and walked off, not wanting to have anything to do with the dirt as the two boys continued to play.